Good day, Tamers. It's me, Akira Swiftly. I don't think I do the intro anymore, well, not that often. Let's talk about the lizard in the room. That is Owen Dreadnought, and his quite interesting deck, his reptile / dragonkin deck. And I believe in Japanese it's the same kanji style, because we had this issue before with EX3 where certain things could be searched that didn't really mention the names during the searching process, which is why EX3 has like a load of errata packs from that era. But we're going to jump in, real red reptiles, and this is probably as excited I've been for a red deck for a long time, and I love red. Red's like my favourite colour, and well, it's my literal favourite colour. It's probably my favourite colour in the card game, followed very closely by purple, which is also in a really good place right now. So, let's jump into it. Gigimon. I was a little bit surprised to see this, although people have brought up that Gigimon and Jirimon, I think it is dancing in the fountain behind Elisa, so we probably should have saw that coming, really. There's also another one kind of the left of her. So, level 2. Your turn was returned when your opponent's security stack is removed from one of your Digimon may digivolve into a Digimon card with the reptile or dragonkin trait in hand with the digivolution cost reduced by 1. This can trigger multiple times, so you see something go, one stack can trigger, the next stack can trigger, jumping up to a 5 and jumping to a 6 can be very quick, or a 3 to a 4, 4 to a 5. It's going to be really interesting. I quite like this. It's probably better than a lot of the other starters we've had for the Liberators. In my opinion, like, this feels like it's actually like, hey, we're trying to make this deck a little bit broken, or perceived to be broken, and so I think the Gigis are just really good for this. I'm only going to play 4 babies in this deck, because you could probably play the Kuramon from BT14 just to gain a draw, but I don't think it's necessarily what you need to play the deck. I don't think it's going to be like the be-all end-all, the deck is terrible without it. We're then going to do Agumon from BT21. A lot of these guys are going to be from BT21. I'm going to be super honest with you, they've kind of made this deck pretty good. If we get more support for it, I expect it to be like a level 7, or maybe just a 3rd rookie and level 4, just to fill in the gaps for like more Elisa cards. Agumon, on play, you may return one Digimon card with the reptile or dragonkin trait from your trash to hand. I like this more of a insurance piece than anything else. Just because I can see it happening occasionally where you will need to return something back to hand, either it be a piece like a level 4 or level 5, or one of your level 6s, or maybe you just need to get things going again. Maybe it will be a card we talk about a little bit later, because you know how I like this card. This card's probably my favourite card in the whole game, where I talk about it. When's it getting old? But the Agumon is really good. And then your turn, it's still a red card. This Digimon gains 2,000 DP. Like, I know it's a red deck, but this red deck is just punching things down. Like, it's really good. As you may have seen already, the Elisa card that came out a few weeks back for BT21. It's a play cost of 3, 1,000 DP, 0 from a level 2, and then on play of your top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with the reptile or dragonkin trait, and 1 card with the liberator trait amongst them to the hand, return to the rest of the bottom of the deck. So this will bring in itself, it can bring in any of its parts. There's only one, actually no, I think every single thing in this deck that is a Digimon and Tamers can be gathered by this card, so it's actually a really good key piece of this card. And the reason why I stuttered there for a second is you will see why at the end of the deck profile, why I was like, oh yeah, by the way. So it's really cool, really interesting. Your turn was returned when your opponent's security stack is removed from game memory. That's a really good inherited effect. Me and Replay have spoke about this. I don't know if it's on the good card, bad card, or if it's something we just spoke about like between ourselves, like in between episodes. But this could be the start of like the red reptile engine. Very similar to how we have the Dark Animal engine for purple. And then we have 2 of the Gigimon from EX4. Yes, my boy, you know I love him. You know he's my favourite. We know we need to get a full art of this guy because he's just the bestest. For a cost of 3, 2,000 DP, digivolves from a red or a purple baby for a cost of 1, or from a Gigimon, funny enough, Gigimon's right here, for 0, on play, if there is a total number of cards in both players' trashes is 20 or more, this Digimon gains Rush for the turn. Oh, an end piece, my favourite. It's also a reptile, by the way, so he can be brought back by the Agumon, he can be found by the Elisa. So, if there's ever a situation where you're having to dig into your deck just for a way to finish the game, this could be your man. So, that's all I have to say. But I absolutely love this. This is technically where the rookies stop for now. We'll come back to them later on. But this is my sort of like 10 going to use cards for this deck. I could maybe see the Agumon go down to 3. Maybe put a different support in as like a one-off. Or maybe sort of work it out later on with what we're going to go through later. But for now, these are the cards I want to see. Going to play 4 of the Cyclomon from BT21. A security at the end of battle. Play this card without paying the cost. And this is one of the reasons why I hate it's an extra body. Especially in this deck that likes to have just things to evolve on top of. On play, when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's level 4. Sorry. On play, when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP or less. Fairly good, getting rid of any of those rookies. Some level 4s for the most part. But again, it's just trying to clear bodies where it can. We play 4 of the Dimitramon, which is the cool sail fin dinosaur that looks really cool. Although he's still a reptile. Play cost of 4, 4000 DP. Digivolve for a cost of 2. When Digivolving, if you have one or fewer Tamers, you may play 1 Owen Dreadnought from the hand without paying the cost. We're only going to play Owens in this version of the deck. There are a few other versions of the deck I like the idea of, but we will see what happens in the future. Your turn must turn when your opponent's security stack is removed from gain 1 memory. Again, synergizing with the other Elisa. I kind of hope that the Elisa we get in the future, which is probably going to be like when Digivolving into a Reptile or Dragonkin, reduce the cost by 1. Comes around, it'll also have the effect of gaining a memory when security is removed. That'd be really cool. As a 2 of, which people might not be seeing, but you know if you've been talking around people, Flangemon, Promo. It is a Dragonkin. So for a play cost of 5, Digivolves over a red or blue for a cost of 3, and a V1 for 2. There's no V1s in the deck, don't worry about that. 5000 DP. Your turn, once per turn, when this Digimon attacks, target is switched, your opponent adds the top card of their security to hand. This will trigger any of your cards that says, hey look, your opponent's lost a security. Which means that your Gigi just went, okay, let's Digivolve. You just gained a memory from Elisa. That's really cool. If you've got a Dimitramon in a different stack, it's also going to gain that 1 memory. Limamon, for instance, their inherited effect, they will let you play a Reptile or Dragonkin for 5000 DP or less. Option card will trigger. It's very good in the deck. It synergizes well. That free cost might be the killer though. But with the ability to Digivolve from the Gigimon, reduced cost of 1 going into 2. Gaining memory from other bits as well in this deck is also very simple and fluid. So the free cost isn't as bad as it sounds, but it is just it's a little bit rougher. But you are running, you know, your option cards to Digivolve as well. Our first level 5 will be Cyberdramon, the new one that's just been seen. Play cost of 7, 7000 DP, free to Digivolve into. On play when Digivolving, if your opponent has 5 or more security cards, they place 1 card from their hand as the bottom security card, then trash their top security. A lot of people are concerned this is going to be a security bomb and it's going to absolutely ruin your day. But I will tell you now, if your opponent gets to the point where they can like manipulate their trash in the way they want to, it won't affect this deck. Unfortunately. And then your turn, inherited effect, you get 4000 DP, because why not? If this is, I will say this, we're playing this a free of, it's your suboptimal level 5 in my opinion, but 4000 DP on any body is just, yeah, it's just punching hard. Lamiamon now, level 5, play cost of 7, 7000 DP, Digivolve for free, again, so it's very similar to the last level 5 we just looked at. Your turn must turn when any of your Reptile or Dragonkin trait Digimon's attack charging changes. Trash your opponent's top security. This card synergizes so well with the Flamedramon that you just go, put a card back to hand, trash a card on that raid swing, and it's... The deck is absolutely crazy. Like, I love it. The fact there's so much synergy with just popping security or moving security from hand, it's just... It is crazy. And then all turns once per turn, when your opponent's security is removed from, you may play one Reptile or Dragonkin trait Digimon card for 5,000 DP or less from the hand without paying the cost. All of your level 3s, all of your level 4s. You have a Gigimon that can possibly have rush at this point if you are like pushing through and like doing all this damage, and you know you possibly lost a few cards here or there. It's the synergy is so good in this deck. You also have a keyword called progress now, which is when attacking, your opponent's effects don't affect this Digimon. That includes security cards. That includes aces. That includes just Digimon on the field. They can still block you. They can't ignore blocker. But progress is such a aggressive red wording. It makes me feel happy to be a red player. Then we go into two of the War Greymons that we saw from BT21. Now, maybe I could go for more of this one. I quite like this card. I just don't think it's the mainstay of the deck, as the other level 6 is very good. But when this card will be played, reduce the play cost by 2 for each of your opponent's Digimon. So yeah, you can play this out, depending on the situation you're in, for fairly cheap. Has Rush, has Raid, has Blocker. In wide formats, which we might not be seeing a wide format for a while, but if we were to see a wide format, this card would be very good. It's very similar to BT13, not anyone, Galamon, where he looks at trash, and for every 5, reduce the cost. It's very similar. Obviously, the bigger the board presence, the more aggressive this card is. It has Rush, it has Raid, it has Block. It synergizes very well with a certain Tamer card later on. All turns once per turn, when any of your opponent's Digimon are deleted, this Digimon may unsuspend. Oh, it's good. It's very good. But it's not as good as Elizamon. So security attack +1 with progress, so I am punching through to security if you can't stop me. And then when Digivolving, end of attack, once per turn, you may delete one of your opponent's lowest DP Digimon. Now, if this is the turn that you Digivolved, obviously it doesn't matter at the end of attack. If you Digivolved the turn before, you get to basically do it again. And all turns will turn when any of your opponent's Digimon are deleted or their security stack is removed from, which this deck is trying to blow up your opponent's Digimon as well as just remove security. They play one petrification token. Now, part of me is thinking I'll just taking stones with me and go like, here you go, here's a petrification token. Maybe I'll think of it something a bit more smart-witted and intelligible for once for me. But it is a Digimon that's classed as white. It has 3,000 DP, and then your turn, as in your opponent's turn, this Digimon can't suspend. And then on deletion, trash your top security card. This deck is just a menace. I can't wait to get my hands on such an egregious deck like this. It's gonna be fun. Now we are playing 2 Omnimon X Antibody from BT20. Now you're thinking like, why would you want to do that for? It doesn't make much sense. 1, it's red, so it can be searched before with your offensive trainings. 2, it's a Liberator, so your searcher can search for it. But this thing is fairly cool and interesting. We do have, it is a 16 play cost, 16,000 DP, costs 6 to Digivolve over a red or a blue, and then 2 from Omnimon. We're not playing any Omnimons currently. BT5 Omnimon could be a choice, but currently not. On play, when Digivolving, if Omnimon or X is in this Digimon Digivolving cards, choose one of both players' Digimon and delete all of the Digimon. Then return one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of the deck. Now, you have Raid, and you have Piercing, and you have Blocker. You don't really care about deleting your opponent's stuff, because you kind of also just want to, pierce them anyway. End of your turn, once per turn, one of your Digimon may gain Rush for the turn and attack without suspending. So if you were somehow able to play out a body from the inheritable effect, when the security is trashed and it's just sitting there doing nothing, you can now give it Rush and it can attack. So that could be game. So yeah, Omnimon X Antibody, a really cool tech piece for this deck. The whole deck is just a tech piece, really. It's really interesting, in my opinion. Raging Serpentine, we're going to play that as a 2 of. It costs 8, but it does have a condition that when this card will be used, if your opponent has 3 of your security cards, reduce it by 4, so it's only a 4 cost, which makes it a lot easier. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP. Like, look, there's protection in the game, right? But, it also does this effect in security. So maybe deleting your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP isn't that awkward. All turns, when your opponent's security stack is removed from, delay one of your Reptile Dragonkin trait Digimon Digivolve to a Reptile Dragonkin trait Digimon card in the hand without paying the cost. Building your stack higher, going faster if you're stuck at level 5, securities removed from. Now you're at level 6. Obviously, unfortunately, Omnimon can't be just Digivolved in 2, luckily for them. But again, this deck itself just doesn't really care too much about nuances, as I would say. But Raging Serpentine is a very strong card, and it's going to be good for removal if you can get the first few hits in early. Red Scramble, why not? Here, cost of 2, one of your red Digimon made Digivolve into a Digimon card in the hand with additional cost reduced by 3. This is going to make it easier for your level 3s to go into something like Flame Digimon for a cost of just the option card for a cost of 2, so rather than the 3. You can go up into any of your level 5s from the level 4s for the cost of 2 instead of the 3, and then obviously it reduces the cost down from your level 5s into your 6s, making it hopefully a bit easier for you to progress at the game in the way you want to play. The places in the battle area. If your opponent has a Digimon delay, return one of your red Digimon cards from the trash to the top of the deck. So again, if you need to find a piece, put it back there. And if you don't have a Digimon, you may play one red Digimon card with 2000 DP or less from your trash without paying the cost. Again, this is probably where Gigimon synergizes is quite well with this deck. Again, just having the ability to have a Digimon that can have Rush if the conditions are met. Again, Gigimon, very good. Security, you may play one red Digimon card with 2000 DP or less from your trash without paying the cost, then add this card to hand. This one is pretty good as a security effect because it's going to be on your opponent's turn, so either you gain a search maybe, unless you're playing against certain things like Rune Mode, which you weren't going to play anyway. Go up into another Gigimon if you want to. You can throw down the Agumon with the on-play effect to get back a Reptile or Dragonkin that you need to sort of get the game moving forwards, and it's just fairly good for this deck. The deck wants to be as aggressive as possible. You don't want to have a turn where you're not doing anything. Being able to play more things out as fast as possible is also just very, very good. Offensive training at 4. I think this is probably one of the best cards in any deck, really, in terms of what the trainings do for these decks. Search is up 2. Look for one red card amongst them. Trainer. Digimon. Option card. And then put the rest of them on the deck. Place the card in the battle area, and then on the following turn, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card within the hand, with the Digivolution cost reduced by 2. Again, you know, cost 2, gaining 2 back, and you did a search. Like, you know, there's no downside with this card. It's just an amazing card. Playing 2 of the BT21's Owen Dreadnoughts. Start of your turn, if you have 2 or less memory, go to 3. And then all turns when your opponent's security stack is removed from, by spending this Tamer, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP or less. Again, this deck is just all about popping things. It now makes more sense why it's 4000 DP or less now because of the Petrification token. So, yeah, I'm down for that. Makes more sense now. We're playing 3 of the new Owen Dreadnoughts from BT21. So your main phase, if your opponent has a Digimon, gain a memory. End of your turn by suspending this Tamer. One of your Digimon with the Reptile or Dragonkin trait gains piercing. For the turn, then that Digimon may attack. I'm never 100% sure how end of turn triggers trigger. Like, I feel like you can only pick one, depending if it like starts a new chain of reactions. So like you can pick this one to make one of your available Reptile or Dragonkins with piercing attack, but the Omnimon lets anything gain rush and attack. So I'm presuming it's a case of picky poison. That's probably the best way to describe it. We have a Gutsumon here. Now, this is where like the 2 spaces left for the deck come in now. Put a Floodgate in it. And I mean this in the nicest possible way. Put a Floodgate in your deck. Pick whichever one you think is best for the meta that you're currently playing in. Pick a Gutsumon. All turns players can't play Digimon by effects. Put in Shamanmon. Your opponents can't gain memory other than by Tamer effects. Put in a Solomon. Players can't reduce play costs. Whatever you think is the best thing to do for whatever your meta is, for whatever the meta is, put in your Floodgate rookie. There is the other Floodgate, there is the Gotsumon. You don't really see people play that one though. But again, can't play Digimon by effects. Can't gain memory. Can't reduce play costs. Whatever you think is best is what you need to do. And that is really red Reptiles. So, thank you for being here. If you like the content, please leave a like, share, subscribe, ding the bell, YouTube-y things. And we're pushing for 1,000 this year. So if you guys could be so kind as to join the club, we'll see you guys there. Mwah. Peace out and goodbye.